Fate versus destiny. There's a little bit of etymological basis distinguishing fate and destiny, and regardless of the technical issues in the origin of the words, making a distinction between fate and destiny has implications for the way we go about life. Let's distinguish fate and destiny this way. Fate is what is given to us, is what it has been spoken. That's the meaning of the origin of the word fate from Latin. The Greeks believed that there were three goddesses that determine our fates. They were the fates, the goddesses. One was Clothis, who spun the thread that was our fate. Another goddess measured the thread, and a third one cut the thread. And that was our fate, and it has this strong implication in the meaning, the origin of the word, and this legend that it is firmly established. It has been spoken for. That's our fate. That's what we are born at, and it's rather hard to change. We are born in a certain country. We are born as citizens of a country, speaking as we have a mother language. We are born in a certain economic level and social status. We are born to a race. We are born to a particular sex, which makes a tremendous difference in life. Should we talk about male privilege, not to mention race privilege? We know about white privilege, but how much do we talk about male privilege? That's our fate. That's what we are born with, and it's unchangeable. But then I would like to talk about destiny. I talk about destiny as destiny in the origin of the word, meaning something that is established, something that is set. But it seems to have an implication of some dynamics here, something that we have some control, we have some agency on. So why don't we think of fate as that life has determined for us the moment we are born, and then destiny, what we construct, what we build for us. And then you realize that there is a fuzzy zone. For some people, I will guess the majority of people take a lot as their fate and they don't change it. Let it be country where they live, language, economic status, political leanings. There are other people who make a destiny and go to a different country, speak a new language. Some people even seek a sexual orientation or even a body making that is different from that to which they were born. Think about your own life, how much you have let it be fate, what was pre-established for you, and how much you have changed. We all have a yearning to change what we feel is not good, what we feel that is limiting. I was born in a poor, very poor neighborhood in Latin America, and I didn't want that just to be my fate. I knew that was my fate, but I didn't want it to be my destiny. I didn't want to remain in that status. I didn't want to remain poor, in South America. Maybe selfish, maybe it's a basic human drive to improve our lives. But be aware that they are not the same. Don't let your life be determined by what you were born with. Yes, it can be a tremendous limitation. It can be a gift too, but it's up to you as unleavened to see how much you're gonna endeavor and push to change that. It's hard work. But there's a lot of nobility in that hard work and a lot of reward, as opposed to just being born with a proverbial silver spoon. Because sometimes people are spoiled, they have it all and they don't appreciate it. Some people say we had to be hungry, because then we had the drive to satisfy that hunger. Look at your own life and see how much you're living the life that was set for you, how much you have moved away from that. Be proud of what you have changed. Be proud of what you were given to. There are cultures where people are supposed to take their fate and they are born to castes. And they're supposed to remain in that caste, because it's some form of karma to be born like that, and there's no changing it, but just to hope for the next life. And the more you accept your fate, the more the chances of improving it for the next life. Yeah, if you believe in reincarnation, that might work. Justice starts at home. Justice starts with yourself. And the more you work towards changing the elements of fate that you don't appreciate, the more you are also aware of those who struggle with their own fate. And the more you stand up for them. As a man, when I hear men talking shit about women, men do that a lot. Do I stand up? Do I say, oh, come on, that's unnecessary? Suddenly, often I don't do. I don't play along, I don't reinforce what's being said, but I don't stand up enough sometimes. I heard just maybe 3 weeks ago somebody making rather disgusting remarks about women, objectifying every woman this man was seeing, and I wish I could stood up more, but I'm in a new place and I don't want to stand up in general for my own safety. But I want to stand up more. I want to say, no, that's unnecessary. Don't say that about women. That's insulting. When you hear somebody say something about race, imply that black people are less. Even when somebody talks and says the blacks. Have you heard that? People who say the blacks are this or that. The in front of black. And let's be aware of our privileges, our gifts. Yes, I was born poor in Latin America, blah, 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 blah. But I was born a man with fair skin, huge gifts. I've been in Europe and be pretty much unnoticed. I've seen policemen come into a train station and go past me and go to the Muslim looking people and ask for documentation. And I'm talking about many, many years ago. More recently, I've been on a train and get to a border, open borders in Europe, right? And here come the police, and they look into my compartment, and I'm with a German woman, and I just met, and they don't say a word, or they say hello, or guten Morgen. But they go to the next compartment and they find people of color and they ask for documents and they get some people off the train, and I see that and I don't do anything but just get another moment where some goddess is asking, is gonna ask me, why didn't you do or say anything? And I was born a man, so I do have male privilege, a humongous privilege. Had I been born a woman in the same setting conditions, I don't think I would have made it out. I would have fallen in love with some man who seduced me, and I would have been pregnant as a teenager, and God, I would have had many kids and be stuck in that same old neighborhood with the same poverty, the same misery. It would have been just too much. The male privilege gave me the edge to choose, to create a destiny, to get an education, to move on from neighborhood and from country. And be aware of the gifts you have. Be aware of what you can change. I have compassion for others, their situation, what they were dealt that limits their lives. Celebrate their efforts to be better, to become better. Yes, it sounds selfish, but no, it's better in yourself, is better in the universe. You are opening to being better, a better person, a better human being, a better heart, a better soul, a better body. And then you are opening to a better universe in general and better people. I went back to my home country some years ago, and I took a taxi, and I was talking to the taxi driver and asking him about words kids are using these days that I haven't learned, because there's so much jargon and lingo people use. And by being a few years away, I'm sure I was missing some. And the driver told me, kids say a lot these days, superado. It isn't superado. It's un superado. It's an insult. It's an overcome, literally. somebody who overcame is an overcome, and that's kind of a put down. Because you don't want to accept your poverty, you don't want to accept your social status, your race, you want the status of your race or your sex. That makes you a superado. And that's now insulting. And I thought, well, I guess I am a superado. I thought my people of my generation, people who knew me, were proud of me. But I guess that's not true anymore. To have overcome. Become a superado. It's a form of evolution. Make yourself better. The river struggles here and gets higher every day. The river has life, and it has decided that remaining low wasn't the thing to do, and now the river is rising. The water is cooler and faster, and the rapids are louder. The river has risen. The river is not gonna stay low anymore. The river is gonna bring flooding and cleansing. El diluvio. Un diluvio. Deluge. But diluvio is a word that is just for very specific, is for the biblical happening. Become a superado. Be aware of the limitations. You can change and strive to do so. Be aware of your gifts and the limitations of others. Be particularly aware of what gives you privilege. Race privilege, sex privilege, male privilege, rich privilege, neighborhood privilege. Be proud of being privileged, but be also grateful and be compassionate for those who don't have the privilege. And when it's unfair, strive to eliminate the privilege, like race or male privilege.